I want to know first about the source of inspiration for this movie, where the idea for this movie comes from.
Of course. Well, I think just personally, I'm always attracted to emarginated characters that are often misunderstood by society. And this particular story started or got inspired from events that actually happened that I read about in news coverage, and but it came very, very important early on to me that I would focus only on her state of mind, the state of mind of this one character. This is a film about the psychological and emotional state of this one woman, a woman that is trapped by her own insecurities, that is trapped by her own past choices, her past, paralyzed by her dependencies. And I wanted to do it using a language that was motivated mainly by sensorial impulses, even more than narrative ones. I didn't want to be distracted by what are often superfluous narrative constructions.
If you want to, for example, to let us reflect upon the status of mind, why you use or why you decided to work with Charlotte Rampling, which is a very celebrated actor, and bring with herself some stereotypical some ideas about herself. So why did not, for example, this work with somebody non-professional that we don't have any idea?
Well, actually, I have to say that even before I started writing the screenplay, as soon as I got this idea, for me, I just imagined Charlotte. Actually, I wrote this screenplay for Charlotte Rampling. Charlotte has this incredible and rare ability to allow a spectator, I think, or someone to see her, to penetrate her, to penetrate her internal world, to understand her internal world, with both a sense of mystery and intimacy. It's like this really unusual combination that she has mastered so well. And so since I saw her for the very first time when I was very, very young, I was maybe 14 or 15 when I first saw her on the big screen, I started following her and I started dreaming working with her, and so this film comes from that.
Talking about psychology, the movie doesn't give us too much information about the mystery surrounding this woman. There is some information that comes out piece by piece, but
yes,
you need yourself to make decisions, to make connections, to understand the connection between.
Thank you for this question, because actually it's a very important one. I wanted to. It's true. A lot of elements, a lot of information have been concealed, have been kept from the audience. And what we choose to reveal is very, very specific. And also the timing of each revelation is specific. That being said, for me it was absolutely important that the spectator would feel a little bit like Hannah. Hannah is very disoriented. She's very confused. She doesn't know what is true, what is real, and what is not. And so I wanted to create a sense, a state of mind that was similar to that. And secondly, and even more importantly maybe, is that I'm very drawn to a cinema that doesn't give the answers to spectators, that doesn't give you conclusions or resolutions, But I want the spectator to be very actively participant a very active participant on the story, with the story. I wanted for the spectator to see themselves reflected onto the character and onto the story, and take a journey with that character, to question him or herself, and maybe possibly even to see certain traits of themselves reflected, you know, because I think that is what catharsis is, you know, like the ability to see yourself recognized in someone else and maybe understand parts of yourself better.
Most of the character is mostly bonded by the environment, and we see him through the frame doors or we see him through the glasses.
Absolutely. Another great observation.
Yes.
Yes.
And is it say something about how you conceive of subject and how the subject is being constructed in the society? Because I think that we had the same approaches in, for example, some of Antonioni movies.
Yes. Yes.
Or
Absolutely.
Bresson even.
Yes.
Very influential.
Absolutely. Like for me, it was very, very important to develop a cinematic language that would articulate, you know, the desperation of this character in the most honest and eloquent way possible. You know, this film. It was very important to reflect and to investigate the relationship that Hannah has with the outside world in order to understand her psyche better, in order to understand how she feels about herself, you know. And so that dialogue between interior and exterior, the dialogue between psychological and physical, was very, very important. And for that, as you said, you know, we have used doorways and window frames, the frame within the frame, you know, because it was important to embrace a cinematic approach that would excite the imagination of the spectator, you know, that would, instead of showing everything, like to excite them by concealing, by allowing the spectator to come to his or her own conclusions, you know, to make the leap, you know. Mm-hmm. So like it's a cinema in which what is left out is as important of what is shown, you know.
Okay.
And so the anxiety, the tension comes from that relationship too, you know.
Okay. And I'm just curious to know, when you wanted to make this movie, did you think about, for example, Chantal Akerman?
Absolutely. Chantal Akerman was very, very. I'm glad that you bring it up, because she was not only a great point of reference for me, but also in my relationship with Charlotte. I mean, when we started working together, I gave her the film. I sent her a film for her to watch, you know. And the film was also shot in Brussels, where Chantal Akerman and Jeanne Dielman was shot. And so I have the uttermost respect for Chantal Akerman, for her cinema, and for what she has created. You know, it's definitely for sure.
Mm-hmm.